Hello, my lovely Prosecco Queens and Kings. I see you too. Welcome back to another episode of the Prosecco Queens podcast, where we sip, spill, and sometimes take a hard gulp of truth. Because let's be real, not everything goes down as smoothly as a good glass of bubbly. I'm Teresa, your host, the forever dreamer, your friend, and your partner in this wild ride we call life. And today, we're diving into a topic that's equal parts liberating and uncomfortable. This following episode is based on the experiences I have lived and some of those people around me, the constant struggle I face every day to see things for what they are and to try and adjust. Remember, I am in no way a therapist or medical doctor. Duh. So I encourage you to seek help if anything I speak on is triggering in any way. We're talking about something that we all have worn at some point, and some of us may still have on. Those famous, fabulous, and sometimes dangerously deceptive rose-colored glasses. And what happens when you take off the rose-colored glasses in your life? You know what I mean. The ones that make your ex seem like a misunderstood poet instead of a walking red flag. The ones that make you think, oh, my kid would never do that, right before you get a call from the school. The ones that make you believe that people's intentions always match their actions. Yeah, those glasses. We're talking personal, parenting, relationships, and the outside world. Where do these glasses come from? Why do we wear them? And what happens when they finally come off? More importantly, what do we do next? So today we're taking them off. For good. We're going to talk about where these glasses come from, why we cling to them like they're designer frames, the real danger of not recognizing them, what happens when they finally come off, and the sweet, sweet freedom that follows. So grab your glass of Prosecco, or your coffee, your tea, or let's be honest, your emotional support water bottle, and let's get into it. So let's start with the obvious. Where do these glasses even come from? Let's be real. None of us are born seeing life clearly. For most of us, it starts early. We come into this world squinting, screaming, and completely relying on the people around us. And in those early years, we're handed a pair of rose-colored glasses by the world. Society, family, culture, and even our own need for security shape the way we see the world. Maybe we grew up believing love conquers all, that people always have good intentions, or that if we just try hard enough, we can change someone. Sound familiar? For some of us, it starts with fairy tales. You know, the happily ever afters where the prince is always charming and the villain is always obvious. For others, it's how we're raised, being told to see the good in everyone, to give the benefit of the doubt, and to believe that people mean well. And let's not forget society, which loves to romanticize the struggle. Love conquers all. Family is everything. And if you just work hard enough, people will change. Those glasses aren't just accessories, they're survival tools. They help us cope, keep the peace, and sometimes keep us from facing painful truths. But here's the kicker. When we refuse to acknowledge we're wearing them, they go from helpful to harmful. They're not reality. And when we don't acknowledge that, we set ourselves up for some serious disappointment, and sometimes even danger. Picture this. You're driving a car with a dirty windshield, but you keep convincing yourself the road is clear. You can still move forward, but eventually something or someone is going to get hurt. So why do we hold on to these glasses like our lives depend on them? Well, one word, comfort. Seeing the world through rose-colored glasses feels good. It makes us feel safe. It allows us to believe in the best version of people, of situations, and of our own choices. It also gives us an illusion of control, because if we believe hard enough, if we love enough, if we just keep trying, things will turn out okay, right? Wrong. The hard truth, keeping those rose-colored glasses on for too long doesn't protect us. It blinds us. In relationship, rose-colored glasses let us excuse bad behavior because they have a good heart. So it blinds us to toxic relationships. It blinds us to people's true nature, and it blinds us to our own bad habits. In parenting, they make us believe our kids are immune to mistakes we made because kids are so resilient. And in the outside world, they convince us that ignoring problems makes them disappear. And if you didn't know before, I hope you damn sure see that now. And that, my friends, is where the real danger lies. And then one day, bam, the glasses fall off, and if you're lucky, you'll see things for what they really are. Now, that is not an easy process, and the transition is truly painful. It will take grief and processing that grief to cope and move on. Oh, honey, this is the moment when reality smacks the crap out of you. First, it stings like stepping into bright sunlight after being in a dark room. It's uncomfortable, it's painful, and sometimes it's downright infuriating. And trust me, I can vouch for that. You might feel betrayed, embarrassed, or even angry at yourself for not seeing things sooner. But then, oh yes, then comes the freedom. Because once those glasses come off, you stop living in a fantasy and start building a life based on truth. You stop excusing, enabling, and waiting for change. Instead, you take control. The freedom to set boundaries without guilt, the freedom to stop making excuses for people who don't deserve them, the freedom to trust yourself, your gut, your instincts, your experiences. And most importantly, the freedom to see the world as it is, not as you wish it was. Because that's the power. Now let's talk about a tricky little thing called empathy. Now we know I've talked about empathy in other episodes, and if you haven't heard them, please go back and listen. Trust me. I believe it's worth it. So why does this fit in with this theme? Because if you're part of the Prosecco Queens fam, I know you've got a big heart. And big hearts, they come with big blind spots. I've expressed in many of my episodes how I allowed my rose-colored glasses to literally make me believe that not only could I change and control everything around me, but I believe that if I did that, then the partners in my life would want to change for me and for us and for the lives we built. I fought and fought to literally my own detriment. And each time I had to really learn the hard way that it doesn't matter what you give of yourself and how hard you fight, because you can only do so much for someone else. Seeing people for who they are instead of who you thought they were can be truly a heartbreaking eye-opener. You only live for them, the memories of the past, and the dreams and visions of the future. And this does not apply only to relationships. This is to everyone and everything in our lives. We are all completely imperfect, but that's where the self-awareness comes in. And some people just don't get it, and some only when it's too late. Most people only make changes in their lives if and when something hits them directly in their pockets or directly in their households. This usually is only true with somebody who actually has and displays empathy. Empathy is beautiful. It helps us connect, understand, and love. It makes us kind, patient, and forgiving. And like I said in my last episode, there is really not enough of that in this world that we're living in now. But here's the problem. When it's displaced and misplaced, it becomes a weapon against us. And when paired with rose-colored glasses, it can be dangerous. There's a difference between understanding someone and accepting their behavior. And well, that brings us to, how many times have you justified someone's behavior because you, quote-unquote, understood why they did it? How many times have you excused red flags because they, quote-unquote, didn't mean to hurt you? Empathy can make you overlook red flags. Empathy can make you excuse bad behavior because you, quote-unquote, understood why someone is the way they are. Empathy can make you put yourself last in the name of being nice or because you felt bad for someone else. Empathy should never be an excuse for enabling bad behavior, period. And that leads me to something crucial. So listen carefully, because here's the difference between character and behavior. Character is who someone truly is. Behavior is what they do. Seems kind of obvious, right? Because someone can have a good heart and still make bad choices. We're all human. Someone can mean well and still hurt you repeatedly. That's a little different. And someone can say they love you, but their actions will tell you the truth. And God knows I've been there more times than I want to even admit. And guess what? Behavior is what affects you. Behavior is what dictates your experience. So no matter how good someone is deep down, if their actions hurt you, that matters. When the glasses come off, we stop making excuses for people's behavior just because we believe in their character. And that's another way we take our power back. So what happens when the glasses are off and we can finally see a little clearly? Well, like I've mentioned before, you set boundaries instead of making excuses and enforce said boundaries. No more of making any excuses for people's actions. And unfortunately, this goes for your kids as well. And I'm definitely learning. That's really easier said than done, but it's important. You stop waiting for potential and start embracing reality. I've always been the biggest culprit of this. Give yourself grace. You didn't know what you didn't know, but now you do. Surround yourself with clarity. Choose people who show up, not just people who say the right things. people who hold you accountable, people who help you see things clearly. And trust yourself. You are not being negative or cynical for seeing things as they are. That's wisdom, baby. It's not easy, but it's worth it. Because living in truth, even when it's uncomfortable, is still better than living in a beautiful lie. And look, if you ever feel yourself reaching for those glasses again, because it happens, just remember this: clarity isn't cold, it's kind. To yourself, to your future, to the life you deserve. And sidebar, to all of us parents out there that struggle with rose-colored glasses with our children, let's try to remember that no matter how good of a job you may be doing, our children are their own people, and we cannot control the choices they make. All we can do is hope we give them the right information, love, and safety that they deserve. And to us moms who have unfortunately, inadvertently, allowed our kids to grow and see and experience things maybe they shouldn't have, try to forgive yourself and do better. Talk to your children. Let them see you're human. And just as you hope they learn from their mistakes, we can learn from ours. They didn't come with manuals, and we didn't either for our parents. All right, my loves, that's our episode. I hope this gave you something to think about, whether it's a relationship, your parenting style, or how you view the world. And if you're feeling a little exposed right now, well, good. That means growth is happening. As always, if this resonated with you, if you're feeling some type of way right now, let's keep the conversation going. DM me. Share this episode with your bestie, and if you haven't already, subscribe and leave a review. Join me next week where we have a special interview with Lauren Fondriest, a professional dating coach, where we will talk all things from online dating, situationships, clearing your own way to love, and much more. As always, I can be reached on all social media at Prosecco Queens Podcast. I can be reached via email at proseccoqueenspodcast@gmail.com. And you can also listen to these episodes on YouTube and subscribe at Prosecco Queens Podcast. And most importantly, remember, you were never meant to see the world through rose-colored glasses. You were meant to see the world in full color. So until next time, keep your glasses full, your standards higher, and your vision clear. Peace out.